Hi everyone and welcome to the Danime channel. I'm Chipper. I'm here with Dan and Romina. We just got finished watching the first two episodes of Sakamoto Days, and I was wondering, Dan, first of all, like initial impressions from Romina and Dan. Dan, what were your takeaways?
Well, I guess in today's time with new anime, if the opening is not good, then sometimes we tend to like let it just drift off. But the opening was very engaged. It was exciting. That's the word I'm looking for. So I really enjoyed the opening scene, and now I'm hooked and want to see more. So, what about you, Romina?
So, not knowing anything about this, I was instantly intrigued. I was already like trying to figure out what the story was. Like, wait, who's that? Why are they there? What's going on? And I was trying to like figure it out as we were watching it. So, I definitely think it was a great intro, and the art too was pretty cool.
Well,
Oh yeah.
different, so definitely some like John Wick vibes at the beginning, right? The retired guy that it's just every time I try to get out, they just keep bringing me back in, right? Like, yeah.
And it seemed like the harder he tried, to get away from it, things just kept lining up. They're like, "Oh, you're not done yet. The business is not
Yep.
done with you yet." So you're right. It just pulled him right back in.
And I liked how he like used everyday items like while he was fighting, even though he didn't want to fight, like the chopsticks or the gum, and like some of those items aren't that hard. So then I thought, like, how is he turning it into like a lethal, well, almost lethal weapon?
What was funny was because that's really where I think that John Wick connection comes from because they built it up so long with the pencil, or was it the pen or the pencil?
pencil,
The
yeah.
pencil, yeah.
And then you finally see it, and then I think they took that like to the next level. I also like how they kind of level set at the beginning because he's super overpowered, but to be able to create like a Batman, like I don't want to kill anymore. That was pretty interesting.
But the power, though, that's what I was trying to figure out, like how he made these things, these items so strong. Like I was thinking, like, is he just that powerful that then he's like channeling the item and it's turning into kind of like a bullet? So that he is like seems really powerful and we don't even know.
And also, it seems like he didn't have to get ready. It seems like he was already ready for something to shake, and he was like, the part in the store where the store changed.
Yes.
I was like,
When he clicked.
yeah, I was like, who's this guy? Like, how long has he had this setup? But I guess he could probably sense that something was always on. I guess from being in that line of work from before, and he's like, yeah, something's always lurking.
Something that was interesting to me was after like Jujutsu Kaisen and Kimetsu no Yaiba kind of like set a new level for how good animation was, and you saw like One Piece and then the new Dragon Ball, like how they've adopted that. It was kind of interesting to me to see how Sakamoto Days is a different type of animation, but I think it works for what they were doing.
It's a little more. I don't know if grainy is the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for here,
Yep.
but good color palettes though. So I really am digging the art too.
I also really like how he doesn't say much. So then when he did say something, like I had to write it down. And I thought, okay, this is important. He said some really interesting things.
Yeah. There were some other things too that kind of reminded me of when we were living in Japan, like some of the just like nonverbal communication cues and things that they were taking. Like Romina, when we were there last summer, like she always liked how like this, and then they brought that back. I think to episode 1, and it just reminded me of some of those. Like, what were some of the other? Because I remember this one, like, oh, I'm sorry, like that one. What were some other? Can you think of any other like while you were in Japan? What was your favorite nonverbal cue? Can you think of anything?
Well, that one that you did was good, like Danime, like trying to explain it to him. But they would do that a lot. But then everybody knows this. Like, it means to not do anything, or like,
Stop.
yeah, or wait a minute, like,
Yeah.
oh, like
This one's a little more.
But
like,
that I've
Japanese
never
specific.
seen like anywhere else.
Yeah, that's Japanese specific.
What else is
very
like Japanese specific?
like apologetic. This one is.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Why do you like or something like that? Yeah.
There's also the like when you're crossing the intersection when you're not supposed to.
Oh yeah, they'll call you out.
You get that one's pretty interesting. But something else about the show after like reading the manga was, I mean, that first episode especially was like one for one, like
Accurate.
shot for shot almost like
Oh,
what the
really?
thing. Yeah, the pace. It's funny because everything's obviously like a little bit faster paced in the manga, but like in the anime, like it seemed a little slower paced, but I think it worked in the yeah. I think
So, being someone who hasn't read the manga, how far along in the first manga did the show, or the first two episodes? Is it like maybe
it's like
halfway?
it's like no, it's like the first two chapters. Like like episode one was like chapter
okay.
one.
Okay.
I think, yeah, and then I think pretty similar to like episode two to chapter two, and they've stayed pretty loyal to, like I said, the shots. But I think as it goes on, they're going to have to consolidate some of those chapters, as some of these arcs that are coming up are kind of more bigger, like world building arcs. I think that they're gonna, have to condense some of that stuff down. But it was pretty interesting.
I feel like we've seen a lot of movies or things of assassins. So I like the concept, how it started out with him of like, he was this assassin and then all of a sudden he fell in love and then he, got married and got fat. And, he's so cute and round, but then he still has that in him. And like that first lesson of never judge a book by its cover, I think that's a different concept, and it's like cute and endearing. So I'm excited to learn more about him.
And I was wondering, like, I was trying to do a little bit of forecasting. I don't know if you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. You probably know. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking there's probably going to come a point in the show where, like, one of the main characters or somebody who has some kind of status is, maybe Sakamoto is going to have to sacrifice something for that character, or maybe the character's doing it for him, So that's just something I was thinking in the back of my mind when I was watching this show. I was like, because I know sometimes anime likes to pull at your heartstrings sometimes. So
Well, what's going to disturb his peace, right? That he's trying to kind of like
maintain, make him snap.
Yeah.
I think that's a pressure cooker that's always just kind of slowly boiling. But yeah, we'll see that as it goes on. And I'm actually interested in reading the spinoff is arriving today. Actually, the Sakamoto Holidays that's coming out. So that should be
It's like
interesting.
I wonder if it's like a vacation of him or something, like him going on vacation with his family and.
Yeah, but there are definitely pieces from a few different things that you could see. Like we already mentioned John Wick. You could see like the Batman rule of no killing is kind of involved there. And then the funny thing was, and this is kind of going into episode 2 then, the first time we saw Lou come in, and then both of our reactions was like, wait, is that Nanma? Like coming in, and the Chinese connection and all of that. And what did y'all think about Lou when she
Well, like, I thought it was pretty messed up after hearing like what happened to her family and all. So I can understand her wanting to take out everybody she comes in contact with, that, like just to get revenge or something like that. So, but her character is very interesting and strong. So, yeah.
And then the serial brother assassins come in, and they seem pretty strong and caught him off guard. I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I didn't
How
think
he kicked
was gonna
him.
Get hit. Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the season was watching the animation where he like flew back into the building. It was like really, that was really funny.
And then the fact that he took that and came right back. So what is Sakamoto like? Is he some kind of? This is what made me think that. I was like, maybe this guy has some kind of superpowers, because Sheen, who's
The clairvoyant.
so he can read minds. So I'm thinking like, okay, if he can read minds, what makes me think that Sakamoto is not like indestructible or something like that?
Well, and how is it that he couldn't read his mind while they were fighting in the convenience store? That's what I was just like, wait, how is he doing that? How is he blocking his mind from him?
Maybe some future development there too. But he's also super OP, kind of like a One Punch Man or something like that. Is an interesting take on the character, and they almost have to, him being fat and stuff like that, tries to make it like he's fallible. But then when you see it, like the old instincts kick in after he starts fighting. Like,
I always think especially being a big fan of like Dragon Ball and Bleach. It's like they get so strong, and then when they have to face regular foes or people who are not on that level, they're actually bringing it down a bit. So to us, it looks like a superpower, but to them, it's just their normal is so up here, so it's easy. It's like easy work.
Well, thinking about how women are portrayed too in different stories, like I really like how they show the family and it's so loving, and then all of a sudden it shows like when the wife hears that
Oh,
she
yeah.
mentioned that there was some fighting and things going on, and she's like, what?
She didn't even hear what
Instantly,
happened.
like-
She didn't even hear what happened. She just heard the
Yes.
word. I was like, what?
You know what that reminded me of was how, like, in Dragon Ball, how Chi-Chi always reacted to, like, Gohan not studying, and, like, she was always, every time he'd be fighting, she'd be trying to
Like,
pull
oh,
him
you
back.
out here fighting? Like, what?
Yeah, Goku still did what he had to do, but when she said, you remember the rules, divorce,
Yeah.
and then he instantly was like, oh no, I'm so sorry, and he's like, that is something that he totally respects.
Yeah, because Taro, he kind of made that decision, and they kind of opened up about why in
Yeah.
episode 2. But, like,
But because he is an assassin, he does think about it.
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's so cute.
That going back
Well,
to, like,
that's-
always thinking about killing Sheen is, like, a really interesting thing that
And she knows.
Suzuki did.
Sheen's so sweet too, and he's like always taking care of him when he was fighting. He's like, oh, this hurts, with like little bandage here, little bandage there. That was cute.
Which kind of going back to episode 1, I was like, there's no way this guy's. I knew Sheen when I saw him. Like, okay, yeah, I could tell they were trying to say he was supposed to do the bidding and knock off Sakamoto, but I was like, yeah, there's no way. Like, he's too kind, and he was willing to take his own life
So quickly. Yeah.
know,
Well, he
so-
had known about him for a while, right? He knew everything of him and was like kind of obsessed with him in a way.
Something you touched on earlier that I thought was really interesting was how they bring. I mean, it's a show about an assassin and all that, but it's also they're bringing that family aspect to it. So the relationship between him and his wife, and then the lifestyle change that he had because of his relationship with his wife, and then having the kid. What did you think about that dynamic?
I mean, it's so cute. And he was worried about the pork buns like the whole time. As
all
like
he's
she,
thinking about,
she was getting attacked, and Sheen was like, "Wait, what's going on? No, we need to focus on this. Like the gangsters are coming," and he was just like kept thinking about the pork buns. So yeah, like it's
and they still had him. Like that.
yes. Well, they were still good.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes me think about Spy Family a bit.
The Spy, yeah.
Because
Yeah, it brings balance between, because there's a huge dichotomy. You have, like, even in Spy Family, right? Like assassins and spies, and then on the other side, it's them trying to get through school, right?
and being a family.
And it's right, and so I think this kind of brings that slice of life in with some more like serious topics as well. And then so the depth, you can't ever tell. Like, is this just going to be like a funny episode of something, like a side thing, or is this going to be
Or is it going to take a left turn somewhere, and then you're like, wow, this is a very serious show now.
Yeah.
But I know because of the elements that they already introduced with the comedy and stuff, that's gonna always probably be in the show. But I do want to see that though. I'm like, I want to see. I know where the first 2 episodes went, and I was like, wow, that's a lot going on. So that can only build up, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to bring up was how he doesn't talk very much, and so I was, every time he said something, I wanted to remember it. So one thing he did say was, you can't choose what is important to others, and that went into the scene where like it showed his promise to her. But I thought that was really cool how he kind of isn't trying to kind of interfere in other people's lives, kind of like the John Wick thing, right? Like then it comes to him, but
Well, and
that was his concept.
how there's only so many, archetypes like Luffy and Goku that like stupid heroes that are really good at one thing, but then like their personality is like, really funny, almost comic reliefy when they're not, hyper focused on the fight. It is interesting to see the show being driven by somebody who is so quiet. And so it talks that being the main character of the show. I think that's an interesting.
Well, similar to like what we said about Spy Family, me being someone who isn't the most like funny or outgoing, I would say, but I feel like those quiet, like really smart, tactical person, I find that so refreshing in a way too, to see like someone who like really prepared for something or studied a lot, and I think that maybe some similarities with the Spy Family there too.
And I also feel like Sakamoto is some type of recruiter because every time someone gets involved, like with Sheen and then Lou, like he's giving out jobs.
Did he and like do they even live there? I was like, how does he know?
Yeah, and that's like that's a really funny thing too, because we've talked about like John Wick or like Batman, because you said that, oh, is this like a Batman character, but it's a working class like Batman situation that I think is a really interesting like aspect to that, and it's always funny in shonen like magazines or like comics how like some of these characters in all of these shows like have really similar paths to get there, but yeah, it's really original how they developed his character to like just having the convenience store and all that. He's not like a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old that's starting their journey from scratch.
And
He's retired.
Yeah.
well, similar to One Piece, I see it like kind of Luffy in the wind. Like he quickly is like, "All right, you're a part of my crew." So he like instantly hired them. I wonder like how many more people he's gonna do that with until he like builds like.
That's the
his
point. That's the
team.
point I was trying to make about the shonen was like Luffy's developing a crew. That how they find some way to make their group, and this is kind of like centered around the Konbini. And it's like getting people to work at the Konbini ends up being he kind of alludes to it in the first episode where he's or the second episode where he's like, you're family now, here's the family, here are the family rules. Like that's an interesting way to how Luffy's building his crew, how he's kind of building his.
He said, "Here are the family rules," and then they only show one
One
page
of them.
with
I
one
know,
rule.
and I was
Like,
ready
is
to
it
like
only
write
one?
down
So
the rule.
if you remember like Death Note, you kind of instead of it's a slow burn, right? Like there's this and this and this, and so that's a maybe interesting foretelling for the future.
But what a good place to have a setting in the Konbini, like being in the US, you don't really understand the value of the Konbini in Japan, like, and finally have like getting the chance to experience it, like cheap food, good food, fresh, like so easy, and it's everywhere, like
It's like real convenience.
yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite konbini chain in Japan?
All right, man. So I am going to have to say
That's a tough one.
it's a tough one, yo.
It's not for me. I like Lawson.
I was gonna say Family Mart,
Family Mart's good.
and the reason I say Family Mart is because the family chicken, famichiki.
Oh, the spicy family
man,
chicken. Yeah.
it's like
It's nice.
I do like Lawson too. Lawson is because you don't see as many Lawsons as you do like 7-Elevens and Family Marts.
Okay, we're
So
gonna
it's
have to go on the difference between all of them.
Yeah, because you kind of have to hunt out the Lawson, I feel.
But there's also there are so many different things depending on what specific item you're looking for. Like there's some like if there's some like quick food, I feel like the Lawson you have some high quality, even those like little like pocket almost like burrito things. I really like those from there. But then at Family Mart, if you wanted to get the famichiki or something, 7-Eleven has their own.
And 7-Eleven is probably the best for the actual bentos.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
I was gonna say 7-Eleven, but I'm also a newbie, so I feel like it might change. But I love the smoothies, like the easy to make smoothies.
And coffee.
and the coffee.
Oh, and the coffee. That's true.
I mean, I think when we were there last summer, I want to say like every day at least once, right? Like you and Luciana were going to get smoothies and
I would start my day with a coffee from 7-Eleven.
yeah, but it's just so convenient, right? Like that culture, and it's interesting to see how 7-Eleven is trying to bring some of that to the U.S., but the culture is mismatched, and it's nothing really really wrong with it. It's just the fact that like if you have to drive somewhere to get it, it's going to be not as convenient as being able to walk from the train station to wherever you're living and just stopping in real quick and grabbing some cheap things that are high quality. That's the thing. 7-Eleven here, what are you getting? You're getting some kind of hot dog or a piece of pizza or something like that, and then you compare that to some actually like fresh and relatively healthy food that they have at the even
And
the 7
cheaper.
and cheaper. Yeah.
I'm thinking they get deliveries maybe every 2 days or something.
What at there?
Yeah, in 7-Eleven.
No, so I've actually done research on this. In the U.S., the average time that they take a truck is like once every 2 weeks is they'll get a shipment in, right? In Japan, it's like 4 times a day
Oh wow.
because there's no inventory space. There's no closet in the back that they can go store everything.
Oh, yeah,
Everything has to
just
go.
be out.
So
Okay.
like they have like a early morning, a morning, and weekdays. The point of sale system is so on point there that they can say in the morning, oh, it's gonna rain at like 2 o'clock. So when they get their 12 o'clock shipment in, it's gonna have the umbrellas. So they have the umbrellas out front for the thing. It's really super complex, and I've noticed that Korea is kind of adopted some of these principles too, and the culture over there is maybe even surpassing it in some capacity, some of the things that they're like offering, but it's just super convenient.
I'm wondering if like the final battle in Sakamoto days is going to take place in like a convenience store or something,
Yeah,
or maybe in his.
maybe maybe the gang that's trying to.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering. Not to cut you off, but I'm trying to think. The guys who tried to kill him in the beginning, like
Yep.
The boss.
who's stronger than that? That's coming. Like what?
And the like the reward, like 1 billion yen, and who the bosses that tried to kill Sheen, and how
Well, and
deep does it get?
this assassin group, because we saw how deep it gets in John Wick. There's almost
Yeah.
a limitless level of depth that you find. But
Excommunicado.
yeah, yeah, but you'll see as we go on.
I mean, like I said, I want to just jump ahead and watch more, but we gotta wait because the new episode isn't out yet.
Yeah, and then maybe when the next episode drops, we'll do another one of these. Yeah, I think that's a good place to close up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment, subscribe below. Dan's kanji channel is running. Your kanji series is up to like 2 or 3 weeks now, but that's going to be super long series. Thank you guys for watching that, and he's also going to have some other videos about life in Japan.
Yeah, just ask questions if you want to know. If I have an answer, I give you one.
Which is kind of the purpose of why we started the channel in the first place. There have been a lot of questions to both of us actually about how life is in Japan or going to Japan, things to look out for. So be sure to check that stuff out. Like I said, comment, like the channel. It goes a long way. And we'll see you in the next video. See y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.